Fucking hot out here. It's like pushing 40. I mean, just a couple days ago when I made the previous video, it was much, 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 much colder than this. As you can see, I'm sort of washed out by the sun, so I don't know much I can do about that. And it feels good. I got a lot of sun on me right now. Feeling like stripping down. I'm not going to get naked. I mean, the pain of others' eyes would be far too severe. Not to mention the glare off my body. You could see it from space. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about space. That was my last video. I hope you digested it and learned what's coming in the near decades, the next 100 years. I won't be here, but any of you are younger and watch the video, you can tally up the number of things I get right. So what I want to talk about is the unfortunate rumblings and grumblings and drum beats near and far that indicate we are marching towards war in the spring. And I'm not in favor of this, nor should you be either. But the media is convincing you that Russia and Putin are horrible, 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 horrible enemies, countries, people. They're just rotten to the core. They need to be eradicated. The country itself needs to be divided up into X number of regions so it never wields any power again. Same thing with Iran. There's a report out of Tehran that the supreme leader, I don't know his name, it's probably an Ayatollah of some kind, has jailed 2 people for dancing in a public square. Not jailed them, sent them to prison for 10 years. I don't know if this is true. Do you? Is the source vetted? There's all kinds of infiltration of false news, and it's been proven in the print and mass television media. All kinds of lies have been spilled in the media. Our media is not free. Our media is controlled by the corporate powers that be that are all aligned with the profits of war. Westinghouse, GE, ABC, etc., etc., etc. CIA has infiltrated the media since the 60s and controlling the narrative from that perch. You don't know this because the media controls what you think, see, feel, hear. We spoke about this. We had television shows about this. We had classes at a collegiate level in journalism about this. All the facts, everything lined up. One duck after another following in line, how the media was controlled by the CIA way back in the 60s. I studied this at Penn State. There was a course in it. Of course, there's no freedom of thinking now. There's no freedom, intellectual freedom on campuses. There's a lot of, choose the correct pronoun. And let me tell you, it hasn't done much good. If you witness firsthand how trans persons are treated, as I am, I have a new friend who's trans, and I visit with her on a nightly basis down in our lobby. I'm not going to mention her name. And I've witnessed firsthand people just totally, totally disrespect her, treat her like shit. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. At any rate, You're beating the drums for war. Most wars start in the spring. Most wars are carried by the Navy to the target, the theater where the war will be conducted. It takes an average of 3 months or more for the Navy to prepare and gear up to carry the military to the next theater of war, be it Middle East or Eastern Europe. So if you're in the military, specifically if you're in the Navy, you actually know right now if we're going to war in the spring. Most wars start in March, towards the end of March, the season of Aries, god of war. Why is this? I don't know. Collective unconscious, subconscious. Just gives us a lot of good time to go to war. We got spring, summer, fall, before things get bogged down in the winter. I don't know why it is, but it is, and history proves this. Everything is tilted towards war and making war acceptable. A lot of movies and television shows promoting war, what it's like to be behind the scenes in war, what it's like to be a woman in war times, and what are their roles to be. Check it. Open your eyes. Look around. Look at what's on television. And the stories you see in the media. Whipping up your anger for your new enemy, your new person that you need to hate, and justify unleashing force upon them and their homes. We recently celebrated, Armistice Day again, a couple months back. I say Armistice Day because that's originally what it was. It was the end of, at that time, what was the most brutal and awful and unthinkable war of all time. World War I. All peace treaties signed and taking effect in the same moment, 11 a.m. on the 11th day of November 1918. It was called Armistice Day, to make peace. That was co-opted in the 50s and turned into Veterans Day. So it no longer has the message of making peace with thine enemies. It has the message of supporting those who carry the war to the battlefield, to the enemy who has been fashioned by the media. There's always enemies. There's always anger. The truth is the anger lives inside of you. You are the vessel for the anger. You carry the war personally. There's a beautiful analogy of this by the a Buddhist monk, I cannot pronounce his name, forgive me, who passed recently. And there was this monk who couldn't get away from the noise of the world. We all know this all too well. And so he got into a rowboat, and he rowed out into the middle of the lake where there was a fog, and he couldn't see very far. And there he sat in his boat and was finally silent and still, and he was able to meditate. And then, out of nowhere, another boat bumped up against him, and he became so angry, and he was shouting at the man, I come all the way out here to be with my mantra, with my peace, to make my peace. And you come out here and come crashing your your boat into me. And then from the fog, everything emerges, and he sees it's just an empty boat that had come untied and wandered out into the lake, following the same currents as he and bumping into him gently. And he saw that the anger, the enemy, the urge to label and condemn and go to war with, even if it's only verbal indignation, it all simply resided inside of him. And in that moment, he was enlightened. And he came to be at peace. Please, please, put aside all your weapons and words of judgment for others who are different than you. Oh, he's a Republican. She's a Black Lives Matters person. He's a self-serving whatever. Put it aside. The war is inside of you, and it is made external by you.